Hi, this is Tim from fititmidlife.com. Today, I've got the NOBULL high top trainer in Wildstorm color combo. Pretty cool looking shoe, but is it a good CrossFit training shoe? That's what we're going to talk about. We're also going to compare it to the Nike Metcon 6 and the Nano 10, so stick around. All right, here they are. The NOBULL high top trainer in Wildstorm. Pretty cool looking. I had to put these on before I started shooting. They are kind of a pain to put on because they're high tops. The super fabric is relatively stiff and there's not really a pull tab on the heel portion to help. You really have to loosen the laces up to be able to get these shoes on. But man, are they sharp looking. One piece kind of upper. You can see there's only a single seam here. Otherwise, it's like one seamless wraparound piece. Super fabric. So it's got these little guard plates kind of printed on top of some sort of a mesh type material, and it looks super slick. Not to mention the outsole. I really like this particular pattern. I saw these and I was like, you know what? Time to pull the trigger and check out these NOBULL high top trainers. So let's take a look around. They do come with two different pairs of laces, by the way. So I have the relatively boring black laces on here, but there is another color option that actually matches the outsole. And they are pretty comfy. Basically, this is a high top version of the NOBULL trainer shoe. So we'll talk about that when we compare side to side with some other NOBULL shoes. They look good. All right, these do have a reflector on the heel there, so that NOBULL logo is mildly reflective. It's kind of like black on black, so the effect is not super prominent, but that part is reflecting the light here from this little handheld flashlight, and this symbol on the back is as well. I guess that's the U from NOBULL, but that is reflective. I don't know if that's coming through on the video or not. But definitely a reflector there. Compared to some of their other shoes, here's a pair of the trainers, the lows, and you can see the NOBULL logo is a lot more, stands out a lot more, looks like it's reflecting a lot more as well. But overall, I like the black on black. I like the subtle look. I don't want to be a walking billboard necessarily. All right, here's the NOBULL high top trainer in Wildstorm. Very interesting look to the shoe. The upper looks fantastic. Let's start with that. This is NOBULL's super fabric material. What is it? Well, it's a mesh layer, so it is somewhat flexible, but you'll notice it's got all these little dots. What are they? Let's do a close-up. And you can see that they're quite dense. And basically, NOBULL calls these guard plates. These are applied on that flexible mesh base layer. This is durable, abrasion resistant, and overall makes for a very tough upper. And I've had a pair of NOBULLs before, so I bought a pair back in 2018, and it is a very durable upper. It will last a long, long time. So your other question about the upper, though, let's take a look around it. Notice it's one continuous piece, too. So starting from this side, around, and there's only one seam. Otherwise, one seamless piece. Looks very nice. And you can see that's kind of fitted to the shape of your foot, which is a good thing as well. So very nice, tough, looks good. But is it really breathable? Because NOBULL claims it is a breathable mesh layer. I have to say it is not that breathable. Compared to other shoes, this is definitely one of the less breathable. And they've always been like that. The 2018 pair that I have, and now this new 2020 pair, no difference really. It's the same material. So it is not super breathable. They do have a perforated tongue. This, this helps to some degree. But overall, in my side-by-side testing, I wear these and a different kind of shoe on the other foot. my feet feel noticeably warmer in the super fabric shoes. And got to be honest, the high top makes it even worse, right? Because there's so much more of your skin being covered as compared to like the lower, the trainer low or the trainer mid. They have two different heights. There's a low and there's a mid, and then this is the high. But man, this thing looks good, and it's tough. So I am not complaining. I like them. And when I saw them, as I mentioned earlier, I was like, yeah, I got to get a pair of these. The tongue, you can see the perforations there. They've got the logo. They do come with two pairs of laces. There is a, with this colorway, there's a different pair of laces that kind of matches the color scheme of the outsole. I have chosen to just go with the black laces, partially because I'm lazy and I did not feel like replacing this. These are the laces that came on the shoe. So excellent looking upper. There's that reflector, which you may or may not have seen reflecting in the video, in the on-foot footage. It's subtle, right? And it's not going to be a huge, highly visible kind of thing. And this is a reflector as well. No pull tab on the heel. I think that would be nice. As I mentioned, you really have to undo a lot of the laces to get these on. So taking them on, or taking them off, putting them on is a decent amount of work for sure. What's the drop? 4 millimeters, as it has been for years. What does that mean? The height difference between your heel and your toes is 4 millimeters. This is what's known as a low drop, minimal drop, low profile shoe. And that is the same drop used in many of the other popular cross trainers on the market. So that makes for versatility. You know, you don't always want a giant heel raise, and a low profile is all around, makes for a more useful cross trainer, let's say. So you know, I like the outsole. It looks good. This is the same general style that they've used on the outsole for a couple of years now. You can see they've got these raised these raised sections here, and I mean, it's all rubber. It's tough as nails. It's super tough. It's going to last a long time. It gives good grip, dry or wet, and overall, it is going to be durable. I'm sure of it. You can see there what looks like might be flex grooves or something, but this is not. This shoe is not hugely flexible in the forefoot. I would say it's moderately flexible at best. It says just the horns there. No bull, just the horns. That's one of their slogans, no bull there. Let's look on the inside. The medial rope grip is there. So the outsole lug pattern wraps up a little bit. Not a huge rope grip, right? It's more subtle for sure. And remember, this upper, super tough. So rope friction on the upper is not going to be a problem with these cross trainers. So overall, I really like the look of these, and quite frankly, when you put them on, they feel like the regular NOBULL trainers, but with a higher top. And maybe that shouldn't be surprising. How about sizing? Because everybody always wants to know about sizing. These are men's size 11, US 11. Fits me perfect. I would say they run a tad bit long and a tad bit wide. So I have room to spare all in the forefoot, which normally some 11s are kind of tight on me, but I have wiggle room all the way throughout the toe. And then I would say they run a tiny bit long. I actually have almost too much space in the up in the toe. I can't comment on if going down half a size would be a wise move, because I'll take too long over too short any day of the week, and too wide over not wide enough, because shoes that cramp your toes are just absolutely miserable. So I say, it's true to size, but it's a little on the big side. So if you have really narrow feet, these might be too wide for you. And best if you could try them on, although of course that's a pain because you can only buy these online for the most part. But otherwise, I say true to size, running a tiny bit long, tiny bit wide. Okay, so we talked drop earlier, 4 millimeter heel to toe drop, all rubber outsole, but I didn't talk about cushioning. What's the cushioning like in these things? Well, first of all, it's the same cushioning in the front and the heel. You know, the forefoot cushion is exactly the same as the heel. And quite frankly, these do not have a lot of cushioning. Not in the forefoot, not in the heel. They are great for lifting weights, very stable, very firm. You get a nice feel that you're connected to the ground with this shoe because of the lack of cushioning. I would say I would not run in these, so I'm not even going to try running in these because they have so little cushion. It's not going to be a good thing for me. I need cushion in my running shoes. So they're tough, they're durable, they are a cross trainer, but unless you like running in a shoe with almost zero cushion, I definitely would not recommend these for running wads that require running and sprints. How much does this big old shoe weigh? Not much. It's lightweight. When you pick it up, it feels lightweight. The super fabric helps contribute to that because it is a very lightweight material, but tough. And this men's size 11.7 ounces. If we compare it to the trainer low, a trainer low is 11.4 ounces. So you get really just a 0.3 of an ounce difference between this low, which is also super fabric, of course, and this high top. So you're not paying a big weight penalty. Pleasantly surprised. All things considered, I like lighter shoes rather than heavier shoes. So let's take a look side by side with one of the lows, the Trainer Low, which is a shoe I've had for a couple years, but this is a new pair. So this is a brand new 2020 NOBULL Trainer, super fabric, same basic design, same outsole, same drop, everything's the same. It's just, it's in the low form factor instead of the high top. A lot easier to put on. And let's get these laced up here. So here you go, comparison, the high top to the low. And it's probably worth mentioning at this point, the high top feels just like the low with the exception of the firmer ankle support, of course, from the high top. But otherwise, cushioning, sizing, width, length, all equivalent. Okay, so now let's take a close-up look. Let's compare the high top to the low, the Trainer Low. So you'll see the similarities right away. It's, both have the same super fabric upper, the pattern of dots. Both have the same tongue with the perforations. The laces are similar style in the eyelets. You'll notice on this particular colorway, there's more reflector here and on the back as well. But otherwise, this is the high top version. This is a low, Different colorway, got a gum color sole in this one. I really like it. Generally same style of outsole, very firm, very tough. These are going to last a long time. It's going to be hard to wear out the sole on these. And you can see the medial rope grip on this one. It's easier to see it because it's not like a, crazy pattern. But, overall, again, 11.7 ounces, 11.4. So only 0.3 of an ounce more when you go with the high top version of the shoe. Both are the same 4mm heel to toe drop. And on foot, they feel very, very similar, except the high top feels more supportive up around the heel, up around the ankle. Here's something else you might be wondering. How often does NOBULL really revise or evolve their shoes? I mentioned that I bought this pair in 2018, late 2018, and they feel very, very similar. They look very, very similar. I mean, clearly it's the same outsole, same material, same drop. The super fabric, it's hard for me to tell, but it almost looks to me, and I don't know if it's just a color pattern, it almost looks like this one has more dense super fabric than this one does. So I think they might have made the pattern denser. It might be the color scheme playing tricks on me, though, because these are black guard plates. These are like light gray. But same feel, same sizing, stuff like that. And, basically, if you've had a pair of NOBULL trainers over the last couple years and you like them, then the high top is going to feel very, very similar, except it's going to be a high top. So if you like this shoe, you're going to like this shoe in all likelihood. All right, so one thing you might be wondering, does the high top form factor impede your squatting form and things like that? Got a Kettlebell Kings 44-pound kettlebell here. You can see when you're doing a deadlifting type of motion, it doesn't matter because your ankles are staying vertical regardless. So plenty fine for that. But let's clean this up, do a few squats here. So you can see there's enough flex in the high collar so that does not impede the squatting motion in any way. It does not inhibit your ankle flexibility, I would say. Let's talk in the gym. So you saw the clip earlier where I did some light kettlebell squats with these. To be honest, I didn't do a ton of testing specifically with the high top because they are so similar to the NOBULLs that I've owned for years and years and years that there's really not a lot of compelling differences to talk about. And, I'm not saying it's not a good shoe, not by any means. I'm saying, it is basically the same design, same features, same feel, and that kind of stuff. They are very solid, as discussed in the discussion about cushioning, because they don't have a ton of cushioning. Again, I would not run in these, but they are plenty fine for lifting weights, deadlifts, squatting. Your ankle range of motion or your ankle flexibility is not inhibited by the high top. At least mine isn't. It is flexible enough to where it doesn't cause any sort of issues there. And these are great weightlifting shoes because of the stability. I also really like a shoe with a minimal heel-to-toe drop for deadlifting. I don't want a ton of heel raise when I'm deadlifting. I do like heel raise for squatting, but I can normally get away with a wide stance with shoes like this with no issues. So overall, it's great in the gym, but it is not breathable. It is not breathable. Despite what the marketing says, this is a very dense material, and it just, your feet are going to be warmer than they're going to be in other shoes. Does that matter to you? It depends. Where do you work out? Is there air conditioning? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it hot? That's what's going to make the difference. Overall, very competent CrossFit shoe. Here's a noise test with the Nike Metcon 6 Fly Ease. Pretty noisy shoe. Noise test with the NOBULL high top trainer Wildstorm. Definitely quieter. Let's line it up to the Nike Metcon 6. Because quite frankly, if you're in the market for CrossFit shoes this year, you can get the Metcon 6 or you could get the NOBULL shoe, things like that. What are the key differences? Well, quite a few. The Nike Metcon 6, this is a men's size 11.5, by the way. I have to go a half size up from my normal size to get the right width in this shoe. The length is fine. This has a super breathable upper. You can probably see my fingers through the perforations. Monster size perforations, great airflow, and very different experience from the less breathable upper in the NOBULL. These also have an all-rubber outsole, very flat, high traction. These have better forefoot flexibility than the NOBULL trainer. But the most important difference is this dual density midsole. So, right, this is the midsole. This is where the cushion's at in the Metcon 6. Very cushioned, very squishy up front. And then you've got clearly a different piece of material. This is quite firm. So, while it's still a 4mm heel-to-toe drop, just like the NOBULL, it is it's a more versatile cushioning for me personally, right? Because, you're jumping rope, you're sprinting, box jumps, or whatever, you're landing on your toes, you actually get some cushion. This is way more cushion than you get in the NOBULL shoes. Yet the heel is still firm enough and works, great for lifting weights. I love lifting weights in all the Metcons. The other thing with the Metcon, you get the monster size rope wrap. I don't climb ropes because I don't have a rope to climb here, but, monster size rope wrap versus minimal rope wrap. But does it matter because this tough as nails upper? I'm not sure. I suppose if you spend a lot of time climbing ropes, maybe it's compelling to have this bigger rope wrap with the directional tread pattern on it and all that kind of stuff. So with the dual density midsole and the perforated breathable upper, this is in fact my top pick for a CrossFit shoe in 2020. The Nike Metcon 6. I've tried them all at this point, and the Nike Metcon 6 has everyone else beat, in my opinion. What about the Reebok Nano X, Nano 10? So this is another shoe that you're possibly in the market for here in 2020. I like it. It is, it's heavier than ever. These are now in the 14-ounce range, right? So 11.7 ounces, 14 ounces, 14.1, men's size 11. All rubber outsole, very tough. Rope Pro for gripping the rope. They have a decoupled outsole, decoupled midsole. This is supposed to help reduce shock when your heel hits the ground when you're running. Like the NOBULLs, I don't like to run in these because they don't have a ton of cushion. Subjectively to me, these have less cushion, especially in the forefoot, than the Nike Metcon 6. So I really don't like to do running in the Nano shoes. I prefer to do the Metcon 6. Although, to be honest, I prefer to wear actual running shoes when I run. So just be aware of that. The upper, I love it. It's stretchy. It's comfortable. The flex weave, or whatever they're calling it this year, is stretchy, more comfortable than last year, but also so much more sophisticated looking. It just looks, it looks nice. It just doesn't look like some generic kind of pattern like last year's shoe did, the Nano 9. They've brought the collar up. The Achilles pad is higher. 4mm heel to toe drop, very wide. So kind of like the NOBULL, if you need width, and this has more width, you can feel the width when you're in the Nano X, Nano 10. If you have wide feet, I'm thinking this is probably the shoe for you. And very good connected to the ground kind of feeling because these don't have a ton of cushion. To me, it feels like it's the same cushion in the forefoot, same cushion in the heel. Great for lifting weights. Not so great for running and sprinting, despite what Reebok's marketing materials say. So it kind of boils down to, do you want a lighter feel, or do you want a heavier feel, but maybe with a more comfortable, breathable upper? I do feel like this is more breathable than the NOBULL Super Fabric. All right, so that was our review of the NOBULL High Top Trainer in Wildstorm color combination. This is a great looking shoe, and it'll work for CrossFit, but it is not breathable. It's a little bit on the warm side when you're wearing these, quite frankly, but I really like the way it looks, and it is super tough and generally works as advertised. I wouldn't run in these because they don't have a ton of cushion, but this also makes them very good for lifting heavy weights and gives you a great connected to the ground kind of feeling. The other thing is the high top does not particularly inhibit your ankle range of motion when you're squatting, as I showed in the video clip, and I think these look great. They are a little bit expensive, $149, but that's what you got to pay for all these high-tech materials here, this super fabric and whatnot. Lastly, if you've got any other recent vintage pair of the NOBULL Trainer, low or mid, it's going to feel real similar. They do not revise this shoe every year like some of the other manufacturers do. So if you love your NOBULLs you have now, you're probably going to love this one too. So that was our review. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please like, please subscribe. We post new shoe reviews regularly. Thank you. Have a good day.